Hello and welcome to the CAHSEE Test Site Coordinator Training. I will give an overview of the Test Site Coordinator's responsibilities so that you can ensure consistent and accurate administrations of the CAHSEE. Specifically, I will cover test security, which includes maintaining the security of materials and test site security audits. Before testing, which includes training test examiners, receiving materials, conducting an inventory of the test materials, and preparing the test materials for classrooms. During testing, which includes monitoring testing, problem solving, and checking materials in and out to examiners. And after testing, which includes collecting all testing materials and returning the test materials to the local educational agency, or LEA, CAHSEE coordinator. Keeping CAHSEE test materials secure is one of the most important responsibilities of test site coordinators. You must read, agree to, sign, and return the CAHSEE Test Security Agreement to the CAHSEE coordinator, who will keep the document on file for at least 1 year. In turn, you must ensure that all test examiners and proctors read, agree to, sign, and return a signed CAHSEE Test Security Affidavit to you before they receive any test booklets. In addition, you are required to keep all test materials securely locked when they're not being used and maintain processes and procedures to prevent cheating and preserve the validity of the test. Students should not have books, papers, or electronic devices, especially cell phones, on their desks before or during testing. Before each CAHSEE administration, your key activities include scheduling and informing parents and appropriate students of testing dates and times, training examiners and others, proctors or scribes, receiving and conducting an inventory of test materials, and preparing test materials for the testing rooms. Build the testing times into your school days on administration dates. Tests start between 8 and 10 a.m. Testing should begin by 10 a.m. each day. Each section of the CAHSEE must be given on the day for which it is scheduled and should follow the suggested timelines. On Tuesday, the first session of the English Language Arts ELA test needs about 2.5 hours and the second session about 2 hours. On Wednesday, each math test session will require about 2 hours. Remember to have a location and examiner for students who need more time and for students with test variations. Plan which rooms will be used for testing and how to handle students not testing or students who finish testing early. Also, plan for English learner variations such as translated directions, additional breaks, testing separately, and translated word lists. If students have an IEP or Section 504 plan, they may need accommodations or modifications. Accommodations vary how the student is tested but do not change what the test measures. Examples of accommodations include testing over more than 1 day, using a large print or braille test booklet, or using manually coded English or American Sign Language to present mathematic test questions. Remember to notify the LEA CAHSEE coordinator if a student needs to test over more than 1 day, as indicated in his or her IEP or Section 504 plan. The CAHSEE coordinator will then notify CDE prior to the test dates of the need to test over multiple days. Modifications alter what is measured and affect scores. Examples of modifications are the use of a calculator on the mathematics test, the use of an audio presentation on the ELA test, and the use of a dictionary on any CAHSEE question. Using the CAHSEE test examiner portion of this video, conduct workshops for all the test examiners, proctors, and scribes to ensure consistent and accurate handling of the materials. A proctor is needed for every 25 students being tested. Inform examiners and others of their responsibilities with an emphasis on security. You must include the following topics: where to pick up and return test materials each day, the importance of giving the correct tests and answer documents to the correct students, the need to read each of the say boxes exactly as they are written, and how to handle students not testing. To prepare, advise examiners to read the DFA prior to testing, but not the test booklets. For the actual administration, notify examiners to have the correct room configuration and to give the correct materials to students. Verify that the students are using only number 2 pencils on multiple choice questions and the writing task, and that students are not using scratch paper or correction fluid. All students may use their test booklets and blank pages in the answer document for scratch work. Examiners must read the DFA instructions exactly as they're written. Also, during administration, examiners should actively monitor testing to prevent cheating and incidents. If incidents occur, they must be reported to you, the test site coordinator. Upon receipt of test materials from your LEA CAHSEE coordinator, immediately open the boxes and inventory all test materials. Make sure that you've received all the materials listed on the packing list, including a 5% overage. If not, contact your LEA CAHSEE coordinator right away. Count and record the number of boxes and the security barcodes on the shrink-wrap booklets. Keep the booklets shrink-wrapped until testing day. Use the test site packing list and security tracking form for verifying the correct barcodes on the shrink-wrap tests and that you received each item. Reseal the boxes and sign the packing tape to tamper-proof them. Store them securely until the day of testing. On testing days, prepare for each examiner lists of students to be tested and any testing variations students may require. If you receive pre-identified answer documents for students no longer in your school, write void on them and keep them in a secure location until they're returned to the LEA CAHSEE coordinator with your non-scorable materials. Although the ELA test is in a separate booklet from the mathematics test, students should use a single answer document within a given administration. Use the inventory form test site to document the test materials being distributed to test examiners. Finally, train examiners to return all answer documents with completed SGIDs separate from the test booklets and other non-scorable materials. Check that no answer documents are inside of the test booklets. See the LEA and the Test Site Coordinator Manual for other responsibilities that you should cover in training. If applicable, provide the list of demographic fields required to be hand-marked for schools participating in the pre-ID service to the examiners so they'll know what their students must hand-mark on answer documents because these fields were not included in your pre-ID. Emphasize to examiners the need for accommodations and modifications to be offered to students with IEPs or Section 504 plans. A designated person must sign in Box 25A on the answer document to indicate that the student was offered the accommodations or modifications. Mark any accommodations and modifications that were actually used in Box 25B. If English learners used testing variations during the exam that are regularly used in the classroom, the examiner must mark the variations the student received in Box 18 on the answer document. Each test examiner should receive the following materials: 1 DFA manual, 1 test booklet per student plus 1 extra for the test examiner, 1 answer document per student, pre-ID or blank, plus 1 extra blank answer document, 1 number 2 pencil per student and some extras, and the list of demographic fields required to be hand-marked for schools participating in the pre-ID service, if applicable. If students require blank answer documents, you, examiners, or students must mark the demographic information except Box 3, Score Codes, Box 18, English Learner Variations, and Box 25A, Accommodations and Modifications, to be coded after testing. During testing, visit each testing room to make sure that the examiners are following correct procedures. Examiners should not be reading a book, working on a computer, grading papers, or other activities that distract them from actively monitoring the students taking their CAHSEE. If there are test administration incidents, such as cheating or power outages, complete the test administration incident report form and decide what to do about the situation. Discuss the incident with your LEA CAHSEE coordinator. If you observe test security breaches or any violation of the test security affidavit, including loss of materials, report that to your LEA CAHSEE coordinator and complete the test security breach report form for submission to the LEA CAHSEE coordinator. Answer all questions from examiners, and if you need answers, contact your LEA CAHSEE coordinator. After testing each day, count and inventory the test materials from the examiner and follow up to locate any missing test booklets. When testing is completed, make sure that all answer documents are ready for scoring. If a student uses an accommodation like a large print or braille booklet that requires transcription, the test site coordinator must arrange for the transcription of the student's answers onto a blank answer document. Supervise the coding of answer documents. First, ensure that required demographics that were not pre-identified are coded. Even if your LEA participated in pre-ID, the LEA CAHSEE coordinator may send you a form indicating which demographic fields have to be hand-marked. Score codes in Box 3 must be completed for all grade 10 students, whether they tested or not, and for all other students tested. Accommodations and modifications in Box 25 and English learner variations in Box 18 of the answer document must be completed after testing. Box 25A requires the signature of you or a designated person to show that the accommodations or modifications in the student's IEP or Section 504 plan were offered to the student. Find the meaning of the codes in the LEA and Test Site Coordinator Manual or the DFA. In addition to finalizing coding, direct the cleaning of answer documents through erasing stray marks and voiding and transcribing any answer documents that are torn or damaged. If a student is new or does not have a pre-ID answer document, all pertinent demographic data must be hand-marked. For schools that are non-public, non-sectarian sites serving special needs students, the last 7 digits of the NPS California CDS code should be entered in Box 12C on page 2 of the student answer document. The CDS code is available through the CDE website. Locate the large plastic bag labeled Test Site Coordinator Packet, which contains all your return instructions and labels. As soon as the answer documents are ready, separate them by grade level. Complete a school and grade identification sheet, SGID, to place on top of each stack of documents. Varied colors of SGIDs have been used to distinguish each grade level. Use the appropriate SGID for each grade level. Hand-mark Section B, Census or Makeup for grade 10 students or for grade 11, 12, and adult education students, the number of answer documents, and the date of exam. Wrap each bundle of answer documents with the paper bands provided in groups of 100. Place a complete SGID on top of each bundle. Place blue shipping labels on boxes with scoreable answer documents. Pack the test booklets, audio CDs, and other non-scoreable materials in boxes with the pink labels. Send your boxes to your LEA CAHSEE coordinator for consolidation and return to the CAHSEE Processing Center. Thank you for all your efforts in handling all CAHSEE test materials securely throughout each administration and for returning them on time.